in my personal opinion, I think the Democrats are in for a huge uphill battle for the midterms in 2026. Not only are they not trusted by the American people on all the main issues of the day, they've also had their funding reduced drastically by the Doge department, if you know what I mean, okay? But let's go ahead and hear this being discussed by Bill Maher on his panel from the most recent episode of Real Time with Bill Maher. But before we get to these clips, don't forget to like and comment on this video so we can break through the algorithms. Here we go.
I read that the current mayor of Chicago has an approval rating of 6.6%.
Round it up, Sep.
But I mean, you were just the ambassador to Japan. If that was your approval rating in Japan, they would do harakiri on live TV.
They would do it at 27.
I mean, what's going on in Chicago as the person?
Look, I mean, we were talking about this a little earlier. I mean, you have also the mayor of New York not doing well. Obviously, other things also here in Los Angeles not doing well, the mayor here. Look, and then you got mayors like the mayor of San Francisco and other cities that are doing well. So I would say, look, there is a general rule. I had this when I was mayor. Safe streets, strong schools, stable finances. Focus on those three things and your city's gonna be fine. We've gone through 5 years where people became way too permissive of culture. They were all, which is why everything's locked up at Walgreens and CVS, and that is a disaster.
Yeah.
And our school, and I'll say this about our schools. I don't want to hear another word about the locker room. I don't want to hear another word about the bathroom. You better start focusing on the classroom.
I agree.
We had the worst reading scores for 8th graders in 30 years. And nobody, not a governor, not a mayor, not a president, not a secretary of education is talking about it. We're all wrapped up. Look, in 7th grade, if I known that I could have said the word they and got in the girls' bathroom, I would have done it. Okay, we literally are a superpower. We're facing off against China with 1.4 billion people, and 2/3 of our children can't read 8th grade level. So no more about the lot. Wait a second, I'm on a roll for a second.
Yeah.
No more. I don't want to hear.
I gave him the light. But
I don't want to hear another word about the classroom. I don't want to hear another word about the bathroom until you tell me what you're going to do with the classroom.
Yeah.
Enough.
I couldn't agree more.
But I think, to be fair, Rahm, this is actually...
I was being fair.
No, this is a huge Democratic Party problem. If you look at Democratic cities, they are terribly run. They have incredibly high taxes. It is impossible to build, so the cost of housing... Let me finish, I'll give you a chance. The cost of housing is crazy in places like New York and Chicago. If you look at Democratic states, you go look at New York versus Florida, okay? Roughly the same population. The budget of New York State is twice that of Florida. What do they have? Streets paved with gold? I live in New York. I pay the highest taxes in New York. You get nothing for it. And I think that is the image people have of the Democratic Party. Fair. Lots of taxes, lots of regulation, but nothing gets done.
Hey, and I think I live in LA.
Right. And I think, listen, the Democrats have to own this and realize the answer to everything is not more taxes, more regulation. People are fed up of that, and they feel that it isn't working.
The Democrats, look, as somebody who produced the best graduation growth in the country, and we changed our high school.
You were a good mayor, I agree.
No, that's not the point. The point was we changed, but I'll take that. The point isn't the rules. The point is the results. And the party has gotten way too focused on what the rules are. And I do agree with you on this. We have made it impossible to function as a city or as a state, and been so, take an example of this example. Here, obviously in LA, it took a fire and a natural disaster to make you realize, you know what, that rule's not that important. In Pennsylvania, a bridge collapsed. All of a sudden we go, well, that environmental rule is just not important. We got to build a bridge. It's much more important. And I think the Democratic Party should take a look at it and say, we're going to be honest, like we did in 1994 with reinventing government. Everything is on the table. Nothing is safe. And we can just look at it and say, that's essential. Those two things get out of here. and that doesn't happen. And that's a fair criticism.
Maybe this is your next Democratic vice presidential candidate, maybe presidential candidate.
So you think that Fareed Zakaria and Rahm Emanuel there had donned MAGA hats and gone full conservative from the way they're talking, okay? Even though they spent the entire show previous to this actually bad-mouthing and bashing Donald Trump and his policies, all right? But here they are actually talking some sense. And the first thing we're mentioning here, of course, is how the liberal cities, these leftist cities, are run, how they're horribly managed, how you have high crime rates, right? Because for years, the left have ignored crime and basically legalized it, and that led to everything being locked up in all of these convenience stores like Walgreens. Not to mention, they didn't allow the police to actually go out and do their jobs, to stop crime, to arrest anybody, much less prosecute anyone with all these George Soros-funded DAs. And then we want to talk about, of course, all of the trans LGBTQ plus ideology stuff being pushed in our schools, right? That was the most important thing to the left, not reading and writing and arithmetic, right? None of that. Heaven forbid we actually educate our students. We have to teach them the proper way to socially integrate all the crazy ideologies into their lives, right? That's the most important thing. And as Fareed Zakaria chimes in, yes, all of these leftist strongholds have basically the highest taxes in the entire nation. But what do you get for your money, right? Despite New York and Florida having basically the same population size, New York's budget is twice as big, and they're still blowing it, okay? But what do you get? Higher crime, more dangerous streets, worse education. That's what you're getting in all of these leftist enclaves. But the only answers the Democrats ever tend to have is raise taxes. We need more money, right? Because what they're doing right now is so effective. And that's something else that Rahm Emanuel actually says that makes sense, right? You have to judge people based on results, not intentions, not politics, not ideology, but what are you actually doing? What are you accomplishing? Okay, that is what we need to be focusing on. And the Democrats have failed at every single metric, which is why Donald Trump won, which is why these guys should be on the MAGA train as opposed to being the crazy leftists that they actually are. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and say hi to your mom for me.